Hey guys, happy Monday. Popping in here for an off-cycle Chariot chat because I had Monday yoga today. There's some moving around of the schedules happening this month. So because May has so much going on, I'm actually having yoga twice this week, and then that will be it for the rest of the month. So it was wonderful. It was really good to start the week. And it's funny because usually I really dislike having anywhere to be on Mondays because it's the start of the week and maybe it's starting a little slow because of a long, busy weekend, or, I'm just getting set for the week and I just want to have that time to just, get set up with my work and sort of just ease my way in. And so I don't love, right away kind of having this schedule. But you know what? I did it and it was phenomenal and it feels really good. We actually did a new to me pose today. It's called supported fish, and, helps to really open up the chest and opening up, and the shoulder blades got a lot of opening. So it really makes you like hyper aware of all the things that we shoulder and what we are, how closed we can be, and how it really opens you up. And in so doing, then you can kind of get things flowing to where, what type of spiritual breadcrumbs are coming on in here. And I kind of had some things come in ahead of yoga, and then on the other side with the words for contemplation, which basically had to do with, be wherever you are, live where you live, do what you do, share with whom you share. And then, in finding the spiritual in the mundane, changing out the colored lenses that you wear, right? And this is something that we talk about a lot, about what lens we view things through. So it kind of ties in with a message that has been coming in that I wanted to share over the weekend, but now it's feeling very divinely timed that it'll be here, over the next 2 days, I think. Because I have an old reel, one of my old tarot tunes with the music oracle, where Frank Sinatra came up. And, when I would make these reels, and I will be sharing it, it's 30 seconds long, but it's so cool because it's so fun to look back and see. I was just sort of like, okay, let me just shuffle up, see which artist comes out. Then I'm just going to keep shuffling what tarot cards come out, and then find a song, then connect in with a song, which of course I'm not as familiar with all of Frank Sinatra's music. And in fact, the song that I connected with, I really didn't know. But it is a song called Pennies from Heaven. And so it's this song that's about, don't you know, each time it rains pennies from heaven. Don't you know, each cloud contains pennies from heaven. And so it's this sense of, on the rainy days, right? And I've been belly aching about the weather here, the clouds, the rain, the dreary, and how that affects me. And, but then finding the silver lining in a lot of that is the fact that a lot of these sports events and outdoor activities that keep us incredibly busy got canceled or postponed in a way that ended up being a blessing, right? So from a most simple, realistic way that it shows up in our day-to-day, for example, yesterday on Mother's Day, my son was going to have a baseball game, and I have feelings about the idea that mothers would necessarily want to spend Mother's Day, sitting side of a baseball game in a potentially damp and cold circumstance as it was. While we love and support our sons, and, maybe you really love baseball and you really appreciate it and think it's fun. That's just not the case for me. It's funny. My thing is freezing right now on the Polo, so I'm not sure if it's recording correctly. So if it's a little funky, we can blame the solar storms, because my understanding is, yes, we may see some impacts to our electronics. No, I think the car just shut off and it just did a little glitch. My husband actually, my dog too. My husband and my dog are just arriving back at the house now, and so they're on either side of me. And might be thinking I'm talking to myself. But nonetheless, so Pennies from Heaven is this message about thinking that the rainy days and the stuff that goes wrong or not the way that we were expecting is in some way here to ruin our day, or to cause us headaches and suffering, when actually this recurring message that came up in multiple cards for this week as we tuned in yesterday on the Sharecast, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And Pennies from Heaven being like, yeah, and it goes deeper into some even more messages that I was getting. I was sharing them with my friend, and I was saying how, personally, there's been all of this guidance coming in about all this abundance that's coming in and all this big stuff that's happening, and it's really going to take off, and, all this energy that's been building up that we're shifting into, and you're waiting and waiting and saying, okay, when's this big ship coming in? And then actually what I'm finding is it's coming in these subtle waves. Pennies, little pennies that add up over time in these thoughtful little gifts or moments or times where things just work out, or you're given grace or time in a way that you didn't expect to have. And, maybe I didn't like the idea of disrupting my Monday routine, but I did. And now I feel really good. That is abundance. That is wealth and health. And, this Pennies from Heaven message is just coming up where it feels like, really, and then the lenses shifting the perspective of how we look at things. And, again, making it a practice, an intentional practice, that when we feel that, about something, that we take a moment to step back and sort of shift into, okay, what is this thing showing up for me? What is it bringing in for me? What is available to me from this? And so when my focus is on mining the gold, finding the jewels, counting those pennies, it adds up over time. And the more time we spend in that higher vibration, the more that is what we are shifting into. So it's just a continuation of that message that's just showing up wherever. And, that's what these words for contemplation today were saying is, just switching out the colored lenses, can help you to see things in a whole new light. And of course, that extends into the big things. In fact, we were discussing like someone having surgery coming up, and how, someone else sharing that when they had surgery, that they really made it a sense to like program their thoughts, mind, body, spirit ahead of it, to say, envisioning how it was going to be, and that they were going to have this, smooth recovery, and in fact was able to even walk out from this surgery in a way that wasn't the norm, and how they manifested that. They created it through their thoughts. Again, we talked about this for this week, our thoughts, our words, our deeds, and how they line up, and what frequency they're in, what energy they hold. Now, again, that part of us that wants to control, that wants to hold on, that wants to say, yes, but what if? Yes, but what if I believe the whole time that it's going to be wonderful and it's not, and it does actually hurt, or I don't recover how I thought, or there's some other setback or thing that I didn't see coming that derails me. Yes, that may happen, because once again, it's unfolding for us, but not necessarily in the way that we would expect. And so this is also all of this energy that we're in right now with expect the unexpected, and these shifts and surprises and things that need to move around a bit in order to come back into alignment. So again, yoga in this sense, and my own body, and doing these poses that are about, supporting your body where it needs it, where you're holding these deepest tensions, is a beautiful way to become aware of these things in a tangible way that you can feel, and then has pretty quick results to feel the difference, But energetically, then, when we talk about a state of mind, when we talk about the way that we view things, that we have these opportunities to count your pennies. Right? And it's funny because, so tomorrow I'm going to my son's field trip in Philadelphia. And so, we're going to be touring, I think it's the American Revolution Museum. But it's the area where there's a lot of things that are historical to the U.S. Of course, it's where the Declaration of Independence was signed, and Betsy Ross, who made the American flag, all these things coming back to me from school, the Liberty Bell and things that you may or may not be as familiar with from this neck of the woods, but it is a part of a story, that has been woven into the fabric of my history as I was taught it. So all that being said, I'm thinking of Benjamin Franklin. A penny saved is a penny earned. So it's like, don't poo-poo the penny. He didn't say it like that. I did. Quote me, don't poo-poo the penny. No, I'm joking because, of course, we have the Five of Wands here this week, and I was referencing it as that poo-stirring card and using that emoji. So, we can have fun with it all the while. Big messages, right? So it doesn't have to be woo-woo. It could be poo-poo, you see? So, all right, I'm getting silly now. Yeah, a penny saved is a penny earned. So we have this message of pennies from heaven, which actually, again, this was all breadcrumbs that came in for me a couple of years ago that led to another one of my Nature Speaks cards that's called the Cleanse card. So maybe these are all things to share as the week unfolds. Like, I don't want to overload, but again, it's always intended here on the Sharecast for you to just graze and pick and go as you feel guided. So I know, as the week goes on, you may catch these messages on the other end. And if you do, that's in divine timing. So yeah, I think that, some of the big messages, the headlines that are coming in for me are around the pennies from heaven. And then there's another aspect too, that has to do with, again, a play on how we're nourishing ourselves. And so our physical nourishment versus our spiritual nourishment, and, preferences for things such as food and tastes, and how, it's actually a very tangible Taurus, real life way of seeing how, we all have our preferences for the foods that we like or we don't like, or that we've tried or haven't tried, or have preconceived notions about. That likewise, things such as spiritual practices can be something where, somebody, and I always say, I don't want to yuck somebody else's yum, right? Don't yuck my yum. Just because you don't like beets doesn't mean I don't love beets. And just because you love mushrooms doesn't mean I like mushrooms. But it also means maybe there's a mushroom cooked in a way or a different variety that I've never tasted that I don't realize I might like. So staying open and allowing for these differences and allowing for these preferences. And like I said, how it's just showing up in these everyday ways, which is what it's all about. This is real life, and it's real practical spirituality, because everything is spiritual. Everything is connected. So, not just the physical body and how we're nourishing the body and moving the body and working the body. When we talk about, live where you live, do what you do, share with whom you share, and find in all of it the spiritual, and use different colored lenses to get there. So when we're talking about perspective and having an expanded perspective and raising the frequency, raising, the perspectives that we are looking at. And again, from as much of a detached place as possible, so that you're not feeling, well, what if I do? And it's not, we can, and then we get into the swords. Then we get into those axes that we have on the altar this week for our cards. That's when we get really into that overdrive in the head. So then bringing those things into more balance, and we can do that through supporting, each different aspect, mind, body, spirit. So yeah, just some things coming in. I'm just going to let it ride right there, because I've got yoga on Thursday again. So that'll be a good point to check in and just kind of see how things are unfolding this week. But as I'm recording this on Monday, again, if you would like a personal card pull this week on the Sharecast, you can just let me know in whatever way works for you. And I'll be coming on to Marco Polo and sending private messages with those personal card pulls for the week ahead. Also, the special offer for the either an inner child healing or ancestral healing will continue to be available. I'll keep that open probably through the end of May. It's 20% off, but it really is both really beautiful ways to connect in with some deep healing and profound messages in a really beautiful way. So just wanting to reiterate the availability of that special. And let's roll on into this week and see, what all is coming forward through our collective energies and messages. And as always, I love to hear from you and how those things might be unfolding for you. Okay, guys, have a beautiful day and rest of the week. We shall chat as we go. Much love.